Hi, my name is Clara, and welcome to tonight's relaxing bedtime story, a calming sleep story to fall asleep peacefully. Today we'll journey together into the magical world of Robert, where the moonlit jungle, twinkling stars, and gentle whispers of nature will guide us into deep relaxation and sweet dreams. Robert enters the magical moonlit jungle. Robert entered the jungle as though he were stepping into another world, one where the ordinary faded away and only the extraordinary remained. The moonlight was his guide, painting the leaves in shades of silver and whispering through the tall trees like an old friend. He paused for a moment, taking a deep breath of the cool night air, and thought to himself, why do we spend so much time worrying when nature reminds us how simple peace can be? The forest seemed to answer, not in words but in feelings, wrapping him in a sense of calm that reached deeper than he expected. Each step he took was slow, steady, and unhurried, as if time itself had stretched out to allow him to walk without the weight of rushing. As Robert continued, the jungle revealed its wonders with gentle patience. Fireflies floated before him, blinking softly like tiny lanterns, reminding him of childhood evenings when the world felt full of secret magic. He smiled, whispering, "The stars don't try to shine brighter than each other, they simply glow. Maybe we too should stop competing and just be ourselves." The fireflies seemed to dance in agreement, swirling around him in patterns that soothed his mind, easing away the noise of thoughts he had carried into the night. Beside him, a river shimmered under the moon, flowing calmly over smooth stones. He sat down by its edge, trailing his fingers through the cool water, watching the ripples expand outward. It reminded him of moments in life when a single kind word or a small gesture spread further than we could ever see. He whispered softly, "Every action ripples, even if we don't notice. Maybe that's why kindness matters more than we realize." The river gurgled back as if agreeing, its steady rhythm syncing with the beating of his heart, slowing it to a pace that felt deeply restful. The vines above swayed gently, moved by the night breeze. They reached downward as though offering comfort, reminding Robert of how support often shows up quietly, in ways we may overlook. He thought of the people in his life who had been steady and kind without needing recognition. "Sometimes," he said aloud, "strength isn't about standing tall on your own. It's about leaning on each other and letting the wind carry some of the weight." The vines rustled in reply, soft and reassuring, a reminder that even in stillness there is movement and in silence there is connection. Eventually, Robert reached a clearing where the jungle opened wide to the sky. He looked upward and saw the stars scattered endlessly, twinkling like diamonds laid gently across a blanket of night. He lay down on a bed of moss so soft it felt like nature's embrace, breathing in the earthy scent and feeling grounded, safe and whole. Above him the moon glowed brighter than before, as if watching over him. He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again just to whisper, "The stars never rush to shine. The moon never forces its light. It all just happens when the time is right. Maybe that's what I need to remember. My time will come, and until then I can rest." The jungle sang around him, the distant call of an owl, the gentle rustling of leaves, the quiet harmony of the night. Robert's thoughts grew lighter, softer, floating away with each breath. The worries that had once felt heavy now seemed far off, unimportant under the vast sky. He let them go, watching them dissolve like mist under the moonlight, and in their place came a stillness he hadn't felt in a long time. The stars above pulsed faintly, as though they were breathing along with him, reminding him that he was part of something much larger, something endlessly calm and deeply kind. And so, under the watchful moon and the whispering trees, Robert let himself drift, not away, but deeper within, into a space where everything felt exactly as it should, the calming journey through nature. Robert's footsteps slowed as he wandered deeper into the glowing jungle, and the world around him seemed to breathe with him. The fireflies lit the air in soft pulses, their gentle glow floating like tiny messages from the stars themselves. He watched them dance across the path and whispered, "Look at them, so small yet so full of light. They don't ask for permission to shine. Maybe we're the same. We don't need approval to bring our own glow into the world." His words drifted out like a secret, and the fireflies flickered brighter, as if answering him with agreement. The jungle around him moved in rhythms so steady, so calm, it felt like an invisible lullaby. A gentle breeze brushed past the leaves, creating a rustling sound that reminded him of pages in a book being turned. He thought of how life often feels like that. Chapter after chapter, some pages filled with joy, some with lessons that sting, and yet all of them carrying us forward. He sighed softly and said, "Maybe I don't need to rush to the ending. Maybe the beauty is in turning one page at a time." He followed the sound of flowing water until he reached a river glowing silver under the moonlight. The surface rippled, carrying stars across its waves like scattered diamonds. Robert knelt and dipped his fingers into the stream, feeling the coolness spread through his skin and into his heart. The water, always moving, reminded him of time, how it flows whether we notice or not, how it never demands, it only continues. "Funny," he murmured. "We spend so much energy fighting against time, trying to hold on to moments or hurry them along. But the river doesn't resist, it flows. Maybe peace is just flowing." He let his hand rest in the stream, the ripples moving outward, and he imagined all his worries floating away with them, carried gently to places where they no longer mattered. Above him, vines swayed softly as though the forest itself was nodding in agreement. Their long arms draped gracefully, offering comfort, reminding him of friends who had stood quietly by his side during difficult moments. Robert tilted his head up toward them and said, "We think strength is about standing alone, but even these vines lean on trees, and trees lean on the earth. We're not meant to carry everything by ourselves. We're meant to share the weight, to breathe together, to grow together." The vines whispered back in the wind, weaving a song of quiet companionship. Every step he took deeper into the jungle felt like a step deeper into his own thoughts, but softer now, calmer, lighter. He noticed how the air smelled of earth and flowers, how the ground beneath his feet was cushioned with moss, how every detail of the forest seemed designed to remind him of rest. His voice grew quieter, more like a thought spoken aloud. "I rush so much in my daily life, always planning, always pushing. But here the forest teaches me something else. that growth doesn't need to be forced, that stillness is not wasted time, that sometimes the most important thing I can do is breathe. The jungle responded not with answers, but with presence. The steady rhythm of the water, the hush of the breeze, the pulse of firefly light, all became a language he could feel in his body. His mind began to let go of the constant chatter, his thoughts slowing to match the gentle cadence of the night. He realized then that nature was not just a place to see. It was a mirror showing him what it meant to rest, to exist without effort. And so Robert walked deeper into that calm, the jungle unfolding before him like a dream he never wanted to wake from, each sound, each glow, each breath guiding him further into peace. The clearing under the starry sky, Robert stepped into a wide clearing where the jungle opened itself to the sky, as though nature had pulled back its curtain to reveal something sacred. Above him stretched an endless sea of stars, each one pulsing softly, like they were breathing in harmony with him. He lay down on a soft bed of moss, the ground cool and comforting, as if the earth itself had been waiting to cradle him. Looking up, he whispered, "How strange the stars are so far away, yet their light reaches me right here, right now. Maybe our actions are the same. We don't always see the difference we make, but our light travels further than we think." The moon glowed gently, its silver light brushing his face. Robert gazed at it and thought about how the moon never shines on its own. It reflects the sun, yet people still look up in wonder. "Maybe we don't need to create everything ourselves," he said softly. "Maybe it's enough to reflect love, kindness, and the good we've been given. That reflection might be all someone needs to find their way in the dark." The jungle around him hummed with life, yet in such a gentle rhythm that it soothed rather than startled. The faint hoot of an owl echoed through the trees, a reminder that even in the darkest hours, life carries on in peace. Robert closed his eyes for a moment and thought of his own nights, filled with worries, with racing thoughts that refused to rest. He let out a breath and said, "If the owl can trust the night to hold it, maybe I can too. Maybe the darkness isn't something to fear. It's a space to rest, to heal, to simply be." The stars above flickered, and he felt as though they were sending him small reminders that he was tiny but never insignificant, that life was vast but never cold, that the quiet moments often hold the greatest truths. He smiled faintly and whispered, "The stars don't compete. They don't try to outshine one another. They just exist, each in its place, together creating something beautiful. Maybe I don't need to compare myself either. Maybe I just need to be part of the whole, shining in my own time, in my own way." Robert's breathing slowed, sensing with the pulse of the night sky, and his thoughts drifted like clouds across a vast, peaceful horizon. A gentle surrender to sleep, Robert lay quietly on the soft moss, the jungle cradling him like a gentle blanket. The moon's glow bathed him in silver light, and above him the stars shimmered as though they were alive, each one a soft heartbeat in the vastness of the sky. He took a deep breath, the cool night air filling his chest, and felt his thoughts begin to loosen, untying themselves from the knots of the day. He whispered, almost to himself, "Why do I hold so tightly to my worries when the sky shows me how to let go? The stars don't cling to the night, They simply shine and fade and return again. Maybe I can learn to release, too. The jungle seemed to answer with silence, but it was a comforting silence, like a friend sitting beside him, saying nothing yet offering everything. The steady rhythm of the river nearby lulled him further into ease. Robert let his hand rest on the moss, feeling the earth beneath him, strong and unmoving. The ground doesn't rush to prove its worth, he murmured. It just holds everything quietly. Maybe that's what I need, to stop proving, to stop chasing, and just hold space for myself. His eyes wandered back to the stars. They stretched endlessly, more than he could ever count, yet each one belonged. He thought of how often he compared himself to others, measuring his worth against achievements, appearances, or timelines that weren't his own. The stars don't compete, he said softly. They just shine together. And still, the sky wouldn't be as beautiful if even one of them was missing. Maybe I don't have to compete either. Maybe I am enough, just as I am. The thought sank deep into him, and he felt a weight lifting from his chest. The jungle's gentle sounds, the breeze in the vines, the soft calls of night creatures, the hush of water, wove together into a lullaby that stilled the rushing of his mind. His eyelids grew heavier, but not from exhaustion, rather from a calm surrender, a release into something larger than himself. He smiled faintly and whispered, "Every day. I rush, I worry, I try so hard to control everything. But here under the stars I see it clearly. I don't need to control. I just need to trust. Just like the river flows, just like the moon rises, just like the stars return, I can trust that life knows what it's doing. And maybe the bravest thing I can do tonight is let go." His words lingered in the air like soft echoes, and as his breathing slowed, Robert felt his body sink deeper into the earth's embrace. The sky seemed to lower itself closer, wrapping him in starlight, and his thoughts drifted further and further away, dissolving like clouds in the glow of the moon. As you drift away now, let your heart rest in the quiet comfort of this bedtime story. The gentle whispers of the jungle, the soft glow of the moon, and the steady rhythm of the stars are here to remind you that peace is always within reach. Every sound, every word has been placed like a soft pillow for your mind, guiding you toward a space where you can finally let go. This story to fall asleep is more than just words. It is a gentle embrace, a safe place where worries dissolve and calmness takes their place. Close your eyes and imagine yourself lying under the same moon Robert once gazed at, feeling the soft ground beneath you, breathing slowly, fully, peacefully. The night is holding you, protecting you, and inviting you into the sweetest rest. Allow this relaxing sleep story to soothe your spirit, letting your thoughts drift like clouds across a clear night sky. The stars above shine not to wake you, but to remind you of how loved, safe, and whole you already are. This bedtime story is a reminder that rest is not something to earn. It is a gift that belongs to you. Tonight, you can release the weight of your day. You can let your body soften, your breath deepen, and your mind surrender. With every word, with every pause, you are closer to the dreamland that waits for you. Let this calm bedtime story carry you gently into sleep, where you will find restoration, peace, and warmth. Good night, dear listener. May the story to fall asleep bring you the serenity your heart has been searching for. May the moonlight, the stars, and the whispers of nature guide you into the deepest, most restful dreams.